Hello and welcome back. If you haven't seen the previous video, you should go and do because this video is going to be connected with the previous one. Yeah, in this video, we're going to talk about this pointer directly because we have discovered the normal pointers and the pointers with the objects. Now, what is this pointers? We will use the same code that we used in the previous video and we will build upon it. Okay, first of all, let me do this as private and then now before we do anything let me delete everything and start over. I think it's better. Okay, so here first of all let me do public section again for the methods or for the functions. Now I will have a void function for displaying data. Okay, so this play and then this function is going to show stuff. Okay, so before I do anything, what is this pointer? This pointer is a pointer that refer to the same object that we are in. What does this mean? This means that here if I do cout and then I write this by itself, it is going to show me the address of that object. This is the purpose of this pointer. Okay, now we're going to see this in practice. If I go and see person, say person again, p1, and then here if I go and do cout and then p1, so this should shows the address of p1, right? And what if I do p1 and then dot display? This is the function that I'm going to execute. So p1 should show the address of p1 here, the end with the p1, and then the display function with the p1 should cout this. And let's see and compare the two. I'm doing this just to prove to you that they are the same thing. Let's see if I am right or wrong. Okay, so as you can see, both of them are the same exactly. Okay, now what if let me do a set function, so void and then set, okay, and then string n for name and then integer a for age, so I can set data. Now name will equal to n and then age will equal to a, right? So now if I am going to do the normal set as we used to do, I can do p1.set and then I am going to send name and then what and then the age, which is integer 26. Okay, so this was the normal way of handling it. And then here let me delete this for now, and if I do name, now at this point it should shows my name at least. Okay, so let me compile it. Let me compile the code and then let me play it, run it. Okay, nothing appear. Oh, okay, because of course I'm not calling the display. Dot display. Now again compiling it. Dot display. I'm getting an error reference. Non-static method must be called. You mean called it with no arguments? Yeah. So this is a mistake that I didn't put the parentheses. Let me clear it and then compile. Yes. Now it shows name. I passed name instead of my name. Okay. So now if I compile it again, then I run it. Now it shows the name. Look, so this was the normal way of doing the set. Now, if this is actually the address of the same object, this means that I can access it with the arrow. If you want to go to the previous video, I did that with the arrow. If I want to access it with the pointer, so now instead of doing name here, I can do this dot or arrow, sorry, and then name. So now this should serve the same purpose exactly. Now if I compile the code and then I run it, see, now I have my name again. So now what else I can do? I can use it everywhere within the class with the same with the functions. There's a quick note says that you cannot use this in the static functions or static member functions because they do not belong to the object, it belongs to the class in general. Anyway, so now, okay, you would say, why do I need to use this here? Because voila, I'm setting data. Actually, what you can do is you can unite the names. So you can do this without using a lot of variable names. So you can do name here again and then age again. They will be exactly the same as the data members. But here instead, if I do this name and then here age, it wouldn't accept because it will be confused. Which one of them do you mean? But if I do this arrow, not question mark, arrow, and then here this with the arrow, it will serve the same purpose as well. And all of this is mentioned in the slides. Okay, so we can use it this way. We can do whatever we want. Like basically, after we understand the concept of it, we should be able to use it any way we want. So as you can see here, I can use it instead of the normal variables, which means I can use it inside the constructor as well. Why not? What if I do this? If I go and say person, and then here, let's say string name, and then integer age. Okay, so I'm using the same variable names as the data members because now we're using this, which means it's fine. This arrow and then age will equal to age, and then here we have this arrow name will equal to name, right? So now it's going to give an error here because I don't need a set for now because I need to pass them right away. So now my name matters, and then I'm using age, which is 26. Okay, now if I compile and run this code, I am going to get the same result. Okay, yeah, what else? I have few notes that I have written for this pointer. Yeah, you cannot use this inside any static function. If you remember from the static functions, we used to use them for the counter. So if you use them, they will be shared between all objects, so it doesn't belong to a specific object. This is why you cannot use this, because this is referring to the specific object that you're working on or with. This is one thing. In constant members functions, this is allowed for read only. So for example, here inside the set, if I do const, I don't know if you have seen this or not before. When you do const here, this means this function or the set is not going to change any data from the data members. And if you can see here, expression must be modifiable, L value, which means I cannot alter or update any values of the data member if there is const. So I cannot do this with this, and I cannot do this with the normal way. I can do this as well. Name equal, let's say, blah blah blah. I will have the same error as well. So this is not allowed as well. Okay. What else? You cannot assign an address of another object to this. Yep, of course. So for example, if I have a function, let's imagine that I have a function that is receiving an object. So inside that object, I have this as well. Let me delete the const. Okay. So inside that object, let me comment this. So let's say that let's say that I am receiving here person, and then I'm receiving a memory address of the object. Let's call it obj. Okay, so let's imagine, just think of it this way, and I don't think I need to go and write everything, but let's just imagine that you're receiving an object here, person. So this is an address. Okay, so if I do this equal to obj, this is not allowed. In the previous version of C++, they allowed this, so we can change or swap the memory address of this. In that case, object, it holds an address and we're assigning it to this, so the current object will be that object, the other object, so it will point to that one. But this is not allowed anymore, so you need to consider this. If I want to swap or change any data, I need, for example, to do this age, and then here I need to do age, not the question mark again, age. Yep. Okay, what else? You cannot assign null to this as well, so this is not allowed. This equal null. Yeah, so this is not equal as this is not right. No, sorry, I'm comparing them. No, you can't assign null to this. This is an error. I think I covered this and the use cases of it, and you can use it the way you want. The only thing that you need to know that this is a pointer. This is a pointer, and you can deal with it as you deal with any normal pointer, and you can apply anything on it as a normal pointer of the object. You can access data member, you can access function members. If the data member is a private, you cannot access it. If the function or the data member function is a private, you cannot access it. You can only access the normal ones or the public ones. Yep. And in the next video, I am going to solve few examples or problems that might help to understand this better. But for now, this is the properties or like the features of this and how we use them. See you in the next video.